We're following new developments on that massive hack attack. One top cybersecurity firm issuing a major warning tonight. Let's get to Eamon Javers with all the details. Eamon.
Yeah, Melissa, here's something to keep an eye on as we head into the weekend here. A warning now from Mandiant, their vice president, John Hultquist, pointing out the possibility now of potential ransomware attacks. Here's his statement. He says, "We are anticipating more exploitation of the Exchange vulnerabilities by ransomware actors in the near term. Though many of the still unpatched organizations may have been exploited by cyber espionage actors, criminal ransomware operations may pose a greater risk as they disrupt organizations and even extort victims by releasing stolen emails." So this is all the follow-up to that Microsoft Exchange hack that we saw reported on so extensively last week. Over at the White House today, we saw the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, admitting that the administration is still struggling to get its arms around the scale and scope of this entire hack. Here's what he said.
The precise number of systems that have been exposed by this vulnerability and have been exploited either by nation-state threat actors or ransomware hackers or others, that is something that we are urgently working with the private sector to determine. It is certainly the case that malign actors are still in some of these Microsoft Exchange systems, which is why we have pushed so hard to get those systems patched.
So Sullivan there saying the bad guys are still in a lot of these servers. We think the cybersecurity industry broadly thinks that those bad guys are the Chinese. The White House not pointing the finger specifically to the Chinese government just yet, saying attribution is still to come. But the way this ransomware works, Melissa, is that the companies that are being hit hard by it may already know that they've been hit hard by it, and someone is extorting them already, demanding payment or else threatening to leak the emails. You know, we could see that start to happen in the coming days if those companies decide, you know what, we're just not going to pay these extortionists.
Eamon, quick question. I read that that about a third of the vulnerable Microsoft Exchange customers have not yet patched their systems yet. This is according to BitSights. And I'm wondering at this point with this warning, if they went ahead and patched their systems, if that could protect them from this next layer.
Well, it's something that you have to do, and the White House is urging everybody to patch their systems, to pay attention to what the Microsoft warnings were on this. They put out exactly what you need to do. But, you know, in many ways, patching your systems now is a little bit like locking your front door with the burglar still in the house, right? It's going to prevent the other burglars from getting in, but it doesn't do anything about the guy hiding in your closet. You still have to go through your entire house and make sure that there's nobody else left inside. And if you find somebody, throw them out the window. That's kind of where we're at. You have to lock the door and you have to search the closets.
All right. Eamon, thank you. Eamon Javers staying on top of the story for us. This week, cybersecurity names, a lot of them have done quite well. FireEye, for one, is up about 8%, 9%. Jeff Mills, hacks like this, does this underscore, well, obviously it underscores the need for cybersecurity. Does it get corporations to increase spending?
No doubt. And whether it's now or later, companies are going to have to increase spending. I mean, this is the new front line. This is not going anywhere. And companies that are exposed to it are subject to a massive growth tailwind. You know, I even think about a company like Palantir. We talk about it a lot on the show. And, you know, at its core, cybersecurity risk is data related, and to be able to get a view of your network in real time and to be able to figure out where the vulnerabilities are, I think a company like Palantir can continue to do really well. And that stock showed me something these past few weeks. We talked about 22 as being that support level. It held really nicely as some of those SPAC type names were not doing so well. So I'd feel pretty comfortable buying it here.
A lot of these names, though, might get caught up in sort of the software sell-off trend or the high multiple name trend, Nadine. So would you still stick with them as a group, or do they get swept up?
This is exactly the type of business you then want to trade, right? So even if you do have a broad brush day where all tech goes down, what you're seeing, what Steve is saying here, is that there's a secular trend. This is not something that was just a beneficiary of the pandemic. And there's going to be increased growth and need for companies to spend on it, to train on it. And obviously, the increase in data and the need for data centers and for software in those data centers, it just gets exponential. So we like these types of businesses. It is something that you can hold on to and then buy the dips.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.